You know him, you love him. He was on last week. Well, we're keeping the party going, and that's with Trente Jones as we break down everything that happened last week as we look forward to, I don't know, maybe it's a big week this year. This week against Texas, only the highest-ranked opponent to come into the big house as a non-conference opponent in 30 years. So let's talk about all of that on this episode of Locked On Wolverines.
You are Locked On Wolverines, your daily podcast on the Michigan Wolverines, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday. We are back and doing it. Locked On Wolverines podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I'm your man on the ground, Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverines Wire through USA Today Sports Media Group, and we got Trente Jones with us for round two as we continue to break down all of the now that we can actually break down. It's not continue. I'm continuing. Trente, this is the first time that you're getting to break down some actual data points, things that you saw. So, how we doing this morning?
Doing phenomenal, man. I just, early morning, looking at some football. Gotta love it, man. I'm ready to go.
All right, man. Well, let's start with your position group. Well, first off, I guess let's just set the stage. Fresno State, lowest point total that they've had since 2019. Offensively, Michigan wins 30-10. Fans aren't necessarily super enthused about that, considering they are a group of five opponent. What are your overall thoughts just kind of on the game, what you saw just from a general standpoint? And just take us away from there.
Okay, so I watched the game, and as someone who just graduated and, saw these guys grow up even, I know that these are all some hardworking young men, and I know that they all get better throughout the season. So I know that they will continue to progress, right? It is Fresno State. This is a good team. They are not just a pushover team. They're not going to just lay over and pass away, right? But we get back to the O-line. We looked at the O-line early on. Link, he had a few pressures here and there, but overall, this dude played out of his mind. You go and in the run game, he's moving people. He's doing that little gallop technique that I loved. I loved watching him doing that little gallop technique and open up the holes, getting up to the linebacker. Perfect for Gio, a strong young man. A young man who can really get in the fit, move people out of the way. Speaking on Gio, he did have a sack. I don't know if it was recorded on him or someone else, but I know that insider information says that he was just unaware of the play or the call. Regardless, I feel like that wouldn't have happened if the communication was better. So communication will get better week 1 to week 2. Obviously, as the season go on, people get more comfortable, people lose all the jitters. So I don't think that will continue to be an issue. That is out of the way. Run game for Gio, very phenomenal. He's always been a really good run game guy, and he's also been that extra tight end guy that would come in for run plays. And he also played fullback a little bit. Shout out to Jim Harbaugh, 300-pound fullback coming in the league. That's awesome. But going to the center position, Dom Gadis. There was one situation that I saw on the short yardage where he snapped the ball and just hopped back. Is not a technique that I would recommend for any centers out there listening, but because of that, he got stuffed at the line, and I'm pretty sure they did not convert the 4th down or 3rd down short yard. So I would say so they did not, right? So it was obviously a mixture of different things, but that was like the first thing. Speaking of mixture of different things, there was a lot of situations where one person missed a block here, one person missed a block here. So there was another short yardage where Colston Loveland, he was blocking the guy, and then he just barely got on the inside of him. You can't let the defensive end cross your face at tight end. So that's another situation where it was just one person. Everybody had their person blocked, one person missing things. And as the season goes on, I know as that tight end guy, it's very hard to keep them from crossing your face. That's all they want to do, right? They don't even care if the play is being made by them. They just want to cross your face. So I know that he's going to lock in through that. Going to Colston Loveland. What a dog, right? He is out there catching everything, making people miss. He's running over people like he's Gronk, man. That was crazy. I saw him catch the ball, spin, you know what I'm saying, cradle the ball, man. Dude, receiving threat, top in the nation. Run blocking can obviously get better. It was week 1, so I have high hopes for that young man. Getting over to the left side, Miles Hinton. Can we talk about him for a second? That dude looks like first round talent as of right now. I'm going to put my stamp on it. I feel like he's going to go in the first round due to just how dominant and his presence. It was crazy watching him, especially when he was at right tackle last year, played a little tight end, did this, did that. Like, very versatile. It's extremely hard to be very versatile as a person who's like 6'6", 6'7". I don't really know how tall he is. I know he's very tall and much taller than me. Right?
He's 7'9". He's a very large human.
Exactly. This dude's a massive person. So it was very beautiful seeing him go to the left side and just continue to dominate, continue to show that his size is something that you can't really coach. So that was beautiful to see. And then Preeb, another supreme leader on the O-line. And that was a great thing to see. So that left side seems to be, like I predicted, on lock. Let's go back to the center position. Crippen came in, showed some good qualities. I did like seeing Crippen out there. Dom did great, by the way. But Crippen, pass pro, phenomenal. I loved watching Crippen out there. So I feel like they're gonna have some decisions to be made at center. You know what I'm saying? Do you keep Dom? Do you give Crippen the nod? I don't know. I'm not the O-line coach. That's for them to decide. But I do know that they're both really good, and whoever's gonna be out there is gonna be a dog. So that's my take on that.
What concerns do you have? Obviously, that if this isn't, there's not really much time to warm up here. Like you kept on mentioning, it's week 1, but Michigan's going right from the season opener here against a non-conference opponent to a team that was a play away from facing y'all in the national championship game last year, and certainly they're reloading on defense. Right, they don't have those 2 stud tackles anymore. They're in the NFL, but nonetheless, I mean that's still going to be a challenge to play this Texas team. So, what concerns do you have about the unit at this moment as they head into this game?
Going into this game, I know that Quinn Ewers went to that team that I despise. Right, the Buckeyes. So he has some deep hatred towards Michigan. So that's already that mental going in. He's not thinking of Michigan as a regular team. He's taking them seriously. So that's what I see from Quinn. I know that he is a great passer, and when he gets comfortable with those RPOs, he begins to get dangerous. But I saw throughout my time watching Quinn, when you get after him, when you get after that dude, he's not the same person. His numbers drop like 30% when he's on the run and when that pocket is collapsing. So I feel like if Josiah, Derek, Mason, KG, Rayshawn Benny had a great debut, get after the quarterback, man. Oh, dude, I feel like it's going to be a completely different game. If they can hold them, give some offense, you know what I'm saying? Give Davis Warren, Orgy some time to get comfortable. I feel like they can really get after this Texas defense. Like you said, they lost the D tackles. I don't think the production is the same. I'm pretty sure they don't even have any sacks for the year so far. Obviously, a lot of great players on the defense, but they don't have that it factor, in my opinion, so far. Obviously, people come out of the woodworks randomly mid-season, but so far, I haven't seen that jump off the paper. So I feel like, with that leadership from Hinton, with that athleticism from Dom and Link, come together, start balling, get the defense riled up, get some sacks, get some plays, take the ball away. I feel like this game is easily winnable for the Michigan Wolverines.
All right, we're going to get more into the game. I also want to kind of go back and continue talking about what you saw from the offense. But we're going to do that here in just a moment. Before we do, you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we've got a little something different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Keeping in mind, the NFL starts tonight. You're going to want this. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. Just visit FanDuel.com, download America's #1 sportsbook. All right, Trente, we got a little ahead of the Texas preview, but I do want to continue to kind of look at what was. I know that offensively things felt really disjointed. We talked about the offensive line against Fresno State, but I think no one's really concerned about Colston Loveland. He had a monster game. People are certainly going to continue to look to him to really kind of lift, be the high tide that lifts all ships as far as the offense is concerned. But what did you think of Davis Warren in his first go as starting quarterback? It seemed like they mostly put him in positions where he was making short passes, kind of with a little bit more of a horizontal game compared to vertical. And considering what Fresno State was doing, stacking the box for the most part, it kind of didn't really work that much. I mean, he got completions. It just didn't go very far. But I know a lot of people are really skeptical of him taking over for JJ because we saw last year in the first 2 games, teams took away the run game. JJ threw for 280 yards in week 1 and 278 in week 2. Didn't get that from Davis Warren. But what did you see? Positive, negative, all of that kind of stuff from the gladiator, because he really is truly in life a gladiator.
Yeah, no, he's a dog, man. I feel like just starting off, I know Davis Warren, calm, cool, collected type of dude. Little petty stuff, hearing people talk about him, not gonna faze him. So when you take that over to football, you give him the position, you give him the ball, right? You know that he's gonna go out there and do the best he can. And looking at the game, the dink, the nickel and dime, him getting comfortable is dangerous. So I feel like with the nickeling and diming, with them stacking the box, it was very hard to get him comfortable. And I feel like that was probably something that maybe either the play calling or the production or the efficiency out of some of the players could have used. I feel like giving him the opportunity to, branch out a little bit more and spread his wings will definitely support him a lot. Getting him comfortable, like I said, is going to be a key factor in this game. Obviously, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a big game, maze out. You know what I'm saying? That type of environment is extremely hard to get in the mojo, if you will. So, as long as they do the right play calling, him getting in his flow state, as I like to say, it will be a much different game compared to what he was doing during the Fresno State game. Also, I feel like the one interception, like downfield, I feel like that really, that was like a situation where it's like, whose fault is it really? It could have been anybody's fault. Maybe it was just a good play from the defense. I don't really put the blame on Davis Warren for that situation because that ball was very far down the field. Once that ball is in the air for longer than like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, you can't really put the blame on too many people. And I feel like that one is getting blown out of proportion. So
I put the blame I know where to put the blame. Society. I mean, that's where we put the blame.
Yeah.
But you feel comfortable with him leading the charge. I mean, you've seen him behind the scenes, right? Like everyone got their first taste really of Davis Warren outside of garbage time just this last week, right? And certainly a lot of people feel like, oh, if only we could have, the 2022 and 2023 schedules, to kind of get him going, to get that, have Colorado State back on the up on the on the schedule again, to have a UNLV to help you get right. But you feel comfortable with him leading the charge for a game like this?
Oh, dude, absolutely. And even if it was Alex Orji, I feel like that would be even similar to how I'd feel, especially with Alex Orji's ability to get the freaking ball rolling. And you doing QB power, if I do miss anything, I miss specifically blocking QB power as I'm a tight end with Alex Orji in the backfield. It was like guaranteed 5 yards. Why don't we run that play 20 times down the field? You know what I'm saying? Shout out Penn State. So I think, you know what I'm saying? Either way, both of them are going to get the job done. But Davis Warren seems to be the guy that they're going to hang their hat on, and I know that he's going to get comfortable in this game.
Let's talk a little bit defense before we move on to Texas in and of itself. Obviously a very good performance for the most part defensively. They did give up 10 points, and when Michigan's defense gives up any points that isn't like a late 3, fans get a little antsy. But that tells you the expectations that Michigan fans have of a defense, and especially just what we've seen over the last couple of years. Now, Fresno State certainly is a better offensive team than I think people are giving it credit for. Like I said at the top of the show, this is the lowest output that they've had in 5 years. But what did you see defensively? You already kind of discussed how that line looked. What about some of those other positions? Let's look at some of those other guys that come up that you might have had to block in a situation like this, like linebackers. And honestly, also, even though Will Johnson didn't have a very good game and until he had the interception as far as being in coverage, he had some really good plays near the line of scrimmage. So what did you see from the linebackers and the ability of the safeties and corners to kind of come up in run support and help hold Fresno State to just 9 yards rushing?
Dude, holding Fresno State to 9 yards rushing, when I was looking at the game and deciding if I was going to go to the league or stay or blah, 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 I was looking like they looked really good on offense. And I was like, how are we going to respond, right? Mm-hmm. And going back to Will Johnson, I felt like he was just trying to get the big play. He was jumping routes and, playing in the run a lot. I don't know if that was coaching or if his mindset of, I'm the number one corner in the nation. I need to go make some plays. I don't know, but I do know that when he's just out there being himself, he doesn't make those small minor mistakes. I feel like him trying to make that big play got him caught up a few times. And as you've seen, he almost gave up that touchdown. That guy just missed the catch. He gave up that big play. Like you said, he didn't play great early on, but when he kept jumping it. And I feel like when you got that mindset of, oh, this is going to work, I don't care how long it's going to take, you get that big play. And he ran one back for 87 yards. I feel like that type of mindset is either coached or innate in someone, and if they're giving him the nod to be that player who can go out there and possibly give up a first down or give up points, you know what I'm saying, you can be a little bit more comfortable with someone like that being that guy, because he can run stuff back. He's fast. Obviously, he was jogging, ran 20 miles per hour. I can run full speed. I'll never crack 18. So, he's that type of player. And I know that you put him across anybody, he's going to be just fine. So that was him. Him at the line, very dangerous, very fast. He's very slippery. He's kind of like Mikey Sarenstill. He had a lot. By the way, Mikey Sarenstill had a lot of sacks and tackles in the backfield, but he's similar in that way where he can dip and dodge under huge offensive linemen, get some plays. Looking at the linebackers, I saw a lot of number one. That dude, I told y'all, freaky. Dude, he was moving people, flipping people around. He doesn't take no for an answer. Dude, I loved watching him throughout the game. But yeah, no, dude, I played against him. Crazy. Absolutely freak show. Don't like going against that guy at all. So that's good to see. Zeke Berry, I called it. I don't know if you remember, but I said he was going to be one of those players to go out there and make a name for himself. He had a pick. That's enough for me. He's a big time player. That's a huge addition to the defense. Glad he stayed. Love Zeke Berry. Dog. Okay. Let's see. Ernest Hausman, very consistent in the box type linebacker, and he can go up and make a play in the backfield. Love watching that dude. Great. Since we're talking linebackers, we might as well talk outside linebackers. Josiah Stewart, dude. I don't know if I'm like really honed in a lot, but obviously now you know. 2 sacks. He had that one play where he almost lifted the person off the ground, took his soul, slammed it into the dirt. That was terrifying. I don't know how he did that. Definitely been in the gym, so the weight room is not the issue. Nah, dude, Josiah Stewart, crazy. Expecting him to have a huge game, get after the quarterback. Number 8. Dude, names.
Derek Moore.
I see DM Dom. I'm thinking Dom. Say shout out Dom. Good for him. But Derek Moore, he's a freak show too. He almost had a sack. It would have been 1 sack for him, 1 sack for Josiah, but quarterback ran away from him and got to Josiah. So he's also extremely talented, and because of how big he is, it reminds me of like a Mike Moe, but a little bit more athletic. Sorry about that, Mike Moe. He's a little bit more athletic as a pass rusher, so I feel like that duo gonna be really nice to watch. I think that's it. If we can go back to the offense, you let me know, and I'll have plenty of more things to say.
We're running out of time, so we're going to have to start turning our eyes to Texas here. But I'll say this about Josiah. He had 2 sacks in this game. Let's say Michigan plays 15 games this year. You can count on Josiah to get 2 sacks, so it's just going to be an easy little 30-sack season, I think. That's the way that I look at it. All right, we're going to continue on here. We just got a couple minutes left as we turn our eyes to the Longhorns coming into town. We'll get to that here in just a moment. But before we do, when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you've got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals that you cannot find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites, so if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you are looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses are using LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Trente, we've got about 5 minutes left here. So when it comes to what this team needs to bring to this Texas game, what needs to be fixed the most? Like, what things that need to be cleaned up the most in order to be able to contend with a team that looked like it was in midseason form, albeit against a lesser group of 5 opponent?
Okay, so going into this game, if I was the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, I would be honing in on, 1, the cohesion of the offensive line, communication being the key factor in most mental errors throughout the game. The play calling being more let's say, helpful to the quarterback position and to the running back position. I feel like we could use our players more into their strong suits. That would be beneficial. Colston Loveland, doesn't matter what you call, it's going to be positive for that guy, right? So use Colston Loveland, lean on that leader. If he was a senior, he'd be a captain. And then defensively, let Will Johnson be who he is. Put him on that island. Let him take the ball away. Yes, that would be a key factor. Josiah Stewart, let him be on the island. Move all the D linemen to the one side. Make it extremely hard for that one side. Move Josiah to a tackle and make them use a running back or a tight end to chip him because he's going to be violating any tackle in front of him. And then going back to the linebackers, number 1, I don't even know where you put him without disrupting everybody on offense, but put him on the line, put him in the middle, put him in the box, put him on a tight end. Doesn't matter. He's going to do his job. He's going to be very efficient. And when it comes back down to Zeke Berry, he's dangerous. He's sneaky. I feel like if you put him somewhere where people start sleeping on him, he's going to make a play. And I feel like that would be really beneficial. He is getting his name put out there on the map a little bit because he did get the first pick of the season. But I feel like Zeke Berry is very slept on and he should be rated higher, in my opinion, in people's minds. So start thinking about Zeke Berry, put him in better positions to make plays and to support those back end players. And running back position. Khalil, I feel like we should ride Khalil a little bit. We should give him the rock a little bit more in between the boxes and let Dono get off the box, off the tackle, make those huge plays. And number 44, dude, loved watching that guy. He did get tripped at one play, but I feel like when you're in that position, always slamming people, one play mess up, not that big of a deal. So I feel like we should continue to use 44, use Khalil for his power, use Dono for his big play capability and his top end speed. And I feel like we're going to be in a great position to dominate the Texas Longhorns.
We got about 2 minutes left. What would you say are, like, if I said fill in the blank here, then you could give me one or two things. Michigan beats Texas if. You can give me one or two things that would fill in that blank.
If Michigan holds Texas to 14 points defensively, if Michigan scores more than 14, no, if the O-line begins to cohesively work their defensive line. So those two things will cause a Texas win or a Michigan win. Whoops, not that.
Well, hopefully that's not a good Freudian slip anyway. All right, that's going to do it for us today. I will be back solo tomorrow to discuss this matchup with Mike Keys. We might hear from some, actually I was going to say we're going to hear from some Fox people, but we'll probably have the show out earlier before I go to the Fox set. But nonetheless, check out the content. It will be there with those guys, maybe even ESPN. For Trente Jones over there, I am Isaiah Hull. So thank you all for checking us out today. We will be back tomorrow, or at least I will be back tomorrow. We'll talk to you again soon. Peace.
Later.